The bells of St. Peter's tolled Wednesday as the body of Pope Francis was transferred from the Vatican hotel where he lived to the Basilica, escorted by a procession of solemn cardinals and Swiss guards. According to Associated Press, pallbearers carried the simple wooden coffin on their shoulders through the Vatican's archway gates leading out into St. Peter's Square, the cardinals in their scarlet cassocks processing behind and the Swiss guards at their sides in their golden and blue uniforms. Francis' body will lie in state in the Basilica for 3 days of public viewing before his funeral Saturday. Heads of state and other leaders are expected for the funeral in the piazza, but the 3 days of public viewing will allow ordinary Catholics to grieve the 88-year-old Pope, who died Monday after suffering a stroke. Francis first lay in state in the Doma Santa Marta Hotel in a private viewing for Vatican residents and the papal household. Images released by the Vatican on Tuesday showed Francis lying in an open casket, wearing the traditional pointed headdress of bishops and red robes, his hands folded over a rosary. The Vatican's number 2, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, was pictured praying by Francis. The Basilica was being kept open until midnight on Wednesday and Thursday to allow the faithful to mourn. The public mourning period will end on Friday at 7 p.m. Once inside the Basilica, Francis' casket won't be put on an elevated bier, as was the case with past popes, but will just be placed on the main altar of the 16th-century Basilica, facing the pews. Italian police have tightened security for the viewing and the funeral, carrying out foot and horse patrols around the Vatican, where pilgrims continue to arrive for the Holy Year celebrations that Francis opened in December. The funeral has been set for Saturday at 10 a.m. in St. Peter's Square, and will be attended by leaders including U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenski.
In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Spes Christi, quia mortuus surrexit, sit cum omnibus vobis.
In Russia, terrorists prepared a plan to attack Red Square, but it was not possible to implement it. In this regard, new information has been published on social networks. Basza publishes details about the terrorist attack in Crocus City Hall. The curators told the militants that there will be many Jews at the concert of the group Picnic. Accused Dalardzhan Mirzoev told about it. Mega Belia Dacha flashed among the targets at some point, but after reconnaissance, the militants traveled around Moscow, filmed possible targets, stopped at Crocus. Before the attack on Crocus, one of the terrorists gave the other a drink of water with a strange aftertaste. According to sources, Shamsuddin Fariduni gave the water to the others. After that, the fighters felt a sharp rush of strength and courage, and the feeling of fear was turned off. Dalardzhan Mirzoev assured the investigators, in his time he could not even kill a chicken, but after drinking water, he went to the crime without fear. A month before the terrorist attack in Crocus, terrorists were collecting a bomb in Novosibirsk, but they failed to make a detonator. According to Basza, the bomb was prepared by Dalardzhan Mirzoev, as well as another ISIL supporter by the name of Shuv. According to the sources, the terrorists were thinking about an attack in Novosibirsk, and Shuv later left for Tajikistan. There the militants were also gathering to stage an attack or an explosion. As a result, they decided to beat Moscow. The targets of the attack in the capital could be Red Square, Trade Fair Complex, Moscow, in Lublin and Synagogue on Chisty Prudak. The first option failed due to a large concentration of police, the second, due to armed police, who could resist, as well as multiple emergency exits and a fire station located near the complex. The militants thought that there was an attack on Moscow, most of them would be able to escape. Closer to March, they decided to attack Crocus.